to a podcast about sports.
Howdy, Ags for the tailgate, home of Aggie Football. This is Coach and the delivery man, C Money. Today's show brought to you by Frida Homes, building Aggie dreams, custom home builders with over 15 years of experience in Grass Valley. If you're looking for someone that cares about you and the details you care about, contact Frida Homes. Visit them on Instagram at frida.homes or give Justin a call at 979-450-4466. When you call, just remember, everyone loves their Frida Homes.
Frida Homes.
Email us at agstailgate@gmail.com. Find us on YouTube. Subscribe. Leave us some comments. You can also find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts if you'd like to listen. Corey, a couple of comments from the YouTube. First of all, new subscriber, Giga Maggies is the subscriber, new guy. So welcome to the show, Giga Maggies. A couple of comments also. Par says, I hope Smirk'n Durkin does not line up with 3 on the line this year. That will be painful. He also says, with Green out, we need other tight ends to stay healthy. No boat rides till postseason. That no boat ride till postseason, kind of a little bit of an inside joke there. We'll just leave that over that. But
what does that mean, no boat rides? Wait. I'm curious. What does that mean?
Well, he wants the tight ends to stay healthy. You know, boats are dangerous.
How are they dangerous? Nobody gets hurt on a boat.
Nobody does, actually. That's true.
3 points of contact, all you got to have.
First things first, by the way. First things first. Smirk'n Durkin. Yeah. I'm taking that from here on out. That's ours. Smirk'n Durkin. I love that. That is great. Love it. For Par, he's absolutely correct. Let's all hope. Several comments on here, by the way, referring to Smirk'n Durkin's 3-man line. None of them are happy with it. I think it's very clear that the Aggies should be putting their best players on the field, all of which are defensive linemen. So, yeah, 3-man line, bad deal. Tyler Eubanks, he says, going to go ahead and say Durkin, Adazio were bad hires. That's really the best Jimbo can do. We should have opened the checkbook for Glenn Schumann. For those of you who don't know, Glenn Schumann is Georgia's inside linebacker this year, co-DC. He's a young guy, but obviously he's been part of the best defense in the last couple of years over there at Georgia. So, done a good job. He says the best talent's going to be wasted on BS schemes. And, you know,
we don't have to scheme.
They shouldn't have to.
We've got too much talent.
Look, I will say this. Obviously, those two guys have way underperformed. I hated the Durkin hire the moment it happened. Adazio has shown that he maybe has lost sort of his touch at the coaching side on the O-line over the years as he became a head coach. But, you know, both of these guys have one thing in common. They were both on a downside of their performances, right? Adazio at some point was good enough to get hired as an offensive line coach, but then he was bad as a head coach. He was bad again as a head coach. He was bad as an offensive coordinator, I think. And, you know, and then we hired him, right? So coming off of 3 bad, you know, multiple positions where he was just bad, we hire him, like coming down, right? Doesn't make any sense.
Right.
And Durkin, obviously, after getting fired at Maryland, you know, goes down, and he had 2 horrible defenses at Ole Miss, and then here we go, Jimbo hires. I don't understand that thought process. So, Tyler, I agree with you, buddy. Ethan Vincent going to need countless 30-packs on Sundays this fall if I'm going to watch Durkin's 3-man front. The pain is too great. Corey, I think our recommendation is to use countless 30-packs, whether Durkin is having a 3-man line or not. So, continue.
We'll be having them. We'll be doing.
Sure enough.
They make White Claw in 30-packs?
Man, don't I wish. Watermelon, White Claw, 30.
Watermelon, White Claw. That's all you need.
Damn.
Good times. Just waiting to happen.
That's right.
This will be sponsored by Watermelon White Claw this year, by the way, guys.
At some point. New King God, our Miami listener, keeps coming back. Says Jimbo's worse than Sumlin. He says, what makes Russell a bad linebacker? He wants to know what's up with Sam McCall. What makes York so good? And is Shamar Stewart a bust? He also comments that the A&M O-line will equal barbecue chicken against Miami.
Could be.
Yeah, for the most part, so far, Jimbo probably has been worse than somebody. True. What makes Russell so bad at linebacker? I don't think anything makes him so bad. I think he's just
Instincts.
He's not real physical. He's not real instinctive. So that
Yeah.
hurts. That hurts.
He waits too long to react on the play.
Yep, hurts at linebacker, obviously.
Yeah.
Sam McCall is good. Is a young guy. He's going to get in the mix at some point. Good athlete. What makes York so good? York on the very opposite of Russell. The guy's very physical as a freshman, very instinctive, always gets to the ball. He sees things happening. So that's sort of where we're at. Shamar Stewart, a bust? No, not a bust. Just because the guy is not an all SEC player in his second year does not make him a bust. He's got time to continue to develop, and he'll be part of that rotation on that defensive line.
He's getting coached poorly.
He's not getting he's not getting enough of his defensive line cohorts on the field with him at the same time.
Yeah.
And as far as the barbecue chicken, I like barbecue chicken. The A&M line didn't look like barbecue chicken last year against Miami. I don't expect them to do so this year either. Miami's defensive line, not great. All right, so we've addressed some comments, guys. Just remember, comment up on the YouTube. We love getting those comments. We try to respond, and if you get up on it, we're gonna try to get you on the podcast, man. Get you some pub. Get you some pub. Corey,
Let's hear it.
It's finally time, baby.
Know it.
Time. Aggies play the New Mexico Lobos at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Kyle Field.
Yep.
Aggies obviously coming off a 5-7 season. Can't be more excited to get started so that they can get this stink of that garbage season off their plate. Lobos, who were even worse, right? They were 2-10 in the Mountain West, 0-8 in the conference last year. I mean,
who they beat? UTEP?
Yeah, they beat UTEP and Maine last year. That's their
Maine.
2 wins. Exactly.
Maine ain't another team.
They're not even D1
or D2
or D10. They're not even D.
Yep.
Danny Gonzalez is the head coach over there. He's back, but he did replace his coordinators. Last year they had a game against LSU. Actually, they lost 38-0 against LSU. So hopefully you can have a better performance of that if you're the Aggies. We'll talk about that a little bit more. A couple of things.
Hey, did you hear about his interview?
Whose interview?
Danny, the guy who was talking about the Aggies.
No, what he said? Tell me about it.
He goes, okay, a couple of things. First of all, we're really grateful for A&M to have us here. We really need the money to renovate our stadium and stuff like that. That's how he started off. And then he praised. Hey, he talked about which running back you think he talked about. It wasn't Moss and it wasn't Owens. He talked about Daniels.
About how good
Daniels. That's who he talked about. Talked about Daniels. Talked about the receivers, how athletic we are. I mean, he was doing nothing but praising the Aggies. But yeah, he was more thankful about the money that they were getting for the game than anything.
I love it, man. That's Danny Gonzalez just being real, brother.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Being real. Look, he had
to replace the interview.
Both coordinators on this team, a team that, let me give you these numbers, man. They scored 13 points a game last year. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
13.
It's not going to get any better.
We thought the Aggies were bad offensively, man.
They were.
That's 130th out of 131 possible teams.
Who was 131?
I couldn't answer that
I thought
question.
the Aggies.
Oh,
it was the Aggies. It was the Aggies.
Yeah, I think they were 101. Clearly, the offensive coordinator gets fired after that. The interim offensive coordinator that replaced him during the season got fired also. And he went out and hired Brian Vincent from UAB. He was the interim head coach last year, went 7-6 as the head coach at UAB. Not bad. They scored 30 points a game. So that's a completely new revamped offense that they're looking at. Look, and honestly, Corey, if you're Danny Gonzalez and you don't get rid of that guy, then you're an idiot, right?
Right.
So this is a save my job kind of situation for Danny. bring in a guy that's had some success on that side of the ball and hopefully get things started in the right direction in New Mexico. I'll say this. Given the lack of performance by that offense, the defense allowed 26 points a game, which was 61st in the nation. That's actually pretty good considering, right? They were getting no help from their offense and still ranked around 61st. Not bad. I think this defense is actually not the worst, not one of the worst in the country. They do replace their defensive coordinator because the defensive coordinator went and took the job at Syracuse. Their former cornerbacks coach, Troy Reffitt, takes the DC job. But Danny Gonzalez is also a defensive guy. So they're trying to keep everything sort of in the same line, right? Not a lot of change with that defense, hopefully trying to keep it going. They were pretty well ranked as far as turnovers last year, 1.5 turnovers per game defensively. So that's a pretty good stat for them. Any overall thoughts on your part, Corey?
No, not really. I'm just listening to you talk right now. I'm just waiting for football to start. I'm so excited.
I just noticed that the bedroom door is open. You know what we call that?
No.
That's the LA Forum, baby, because it's where the magic happens. Keep that in mind.
I'm sure our audience wanted to know about that. How's it happening with that shoulder?
Yeah, not good.
Yeah.
Not good. All right, Corey. So let's go unit by unit here. We'll start off the New Mexico offense against the Aggie defense. A little bit of what to expect from New Mexico. Went back and looked at some tape from UAB last year. Look, this offense is actually the type of offense that can give Durkin and his system some issues. Why is that? A lot of 2 tight end looks, 1 back, and they'll use the tight ends in different ways. They'll line them up. One of them is a fullback, inline tight ends, off. They'll motion them. They will do an end over with the tight end over covered up by a wide receiver. So they'll do a lot of different things formation wise that are going to put pressure on the linebackers as well as the secondary to make sure that they're adjusting correctly, right? Not only that, they use a ton of motion, a lot of motion to try to get guys open through in the scheme. And on top of that, they use the formations to try to disguise some of where the players are at as well, right? Covering up a tight end and different things like that.
So you're saying what they need to do is just run the ball.
They will run the football. They love to run the football. Last year, they were one of the top rushing offenses in the country at UAB. Now, I'll tell you this, Corey, New Mexico doesn't have the same talent as UAB, right?
No.
They're not as good, which is hard to say because we're talking UAB, right? We're not talking, I don't know, Georgia or anything.
Western Kentucky or something. Yeah, I got you.
Right. But New Mexico, under this new system, they did bring in some transfers this year, including the quarterback who came from UAB to run this offense for the offensive coordinator. So he came with him. He's an experienced guy. He's done it before. He's familiar with the system, and that's gonna help them get going off the bat. Last year, LSU played UAB, and the first couple of drives, UAB was able to move the ball up and down the field on them. Eventually, LSU did stack the box, stop the run, and let their guys on the outside man up and sort of go one-on-one with those receivers, which allowed them to create some negative plays and which kept, allowed them to really create some
we're not going to
separation.
do that. We're not going to do that. We're going to get a 3-man front, and we're going to dare them to run the ball. Good luck. We stopped it last year with a 3-man front. We'll stop it again this year. Oh, wait, we didn't stop it, did we? Oh, my bad, Durkin.
Look, we can go through this as much as we want to. The fact of the matter is, talent-wise, there's no comparison, right, between the two squads.
We said that last year, too. We said the same exact thing last year. We have more talent than the other team. Don't overthink it. And what do? He overthought it, put 3 men up there, played people out of position, and we lost to App State. Go ahead.
And so that's absolutely. That's what exactly the whole thing. Will Smirk'n Durkin stop the run? Will he stop the run? Period. Well, whatever it takes. That means putting 8 in the box, leaving folks one-on-one on the outside. Will he do it? If he doesn't, then there could be a problem. There
Well,
could
did he
be a
do it
problem.
last year? Did he do it last year?
No. No, he didn't.
Well, now
And-
Jimbo's supposedly paying more attention. So let's see what happens.
This offense puts a lot of stress. We've talked. What's the weakness of this defense? The A&M defense.
Linebackers.
Linebacker. This offense will put a lot of stress on linebackers because of the
Huh,
motion.
I meant coaching, but yeah, the weakness is coaching. But yeah, linebackers.
The motion and the different formations are going to put a lot of pressure on the linebackers to get properly aligned, make sure the defensive line is properly aligned, and not only the linebackers, but also the secondary, specifically the safeties. So that group of Anderson, Richardson, and Gilbert, they're going to have a lot of pressure on them adjusting to all the motions and the different things that are coming out formation-wise. And look, I can promise you, New Mexico is not going to sit there like everybody says Jimbo does and not show their offense, right? They're going to come out with everything they've got. If they've got it in the playbook somehow, they'll show it on Saturday. You know what I mean?
Right.
This offense, I think, is a good opening test for this defense because talent-wise, we're still going to be better. We're still going to be able to make plays. But it is going to show whether you're ready and whether Smirk'n Durkin is ready to stop this sort of offensive system.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they're the 130th ranked offense last year in the nation. It's going to be a good challenge for the Aggies. It should be a great challenge. 130th. Yeah. You hear what you said?
Whole new system, baby.
Oh, God. All new players, all new system, their first game. We should dominate this. It shouldn't be a question. Whatever
Here's the
you're
other
saying
thing.
right now, I understand you're in the system thing. They have a new system, new players, new offensive line, new offensive coordinator. They haven't had time to acclimate each other to everything. We should dominate it. They shouldn't score. Maybe a field. I'll give them a field goal.
Here's the thing. And I'm going to give you a chance to go with that number. But here's the thing. The other thing that they do very well is get the ball out of in the passing game to the tight ends and the tailbacks. Who do we not cover? Who does Smirk'n Durkin and the Aggie defense not cover?
Are you talking about UAB or are you talking about New Mexico?
I'm talking about
New
Mexico
this
offense.
Year.
I'm talking about this offense.
You don't know that. You're assuming that this guy's going to bring this system over and do it. We don't know if their tight ends are worth the shit. We don't know if their tight ends can catch the ball.
Let me be clear about this.
We don't know if their tight ends can catch.
I'm not assuming that he's going to bring this system over. He is going to bring this system over. You know why?
Know it.
Yes, because last year's system netted 13 points a game for New Mexico. So the head coach is a defensive guy. All he wants is somebody to bring their stuff and go run it. So he is bringing the UAB system. Let's not question that.
Dude, you bring your system. You got to play to what you have. You don't just. You have a team like that. I wouldn't be surprised if he ran the wishbone because he didn't have the talent. You run the wishbone when you don't have the talent.
You know who their transfers were? Good transfers at wide receiver. That's where their best transfers came in. Wide receiver.
Yeah, okay,
they got a quarterback
I'd
that
love to
is
see these guys.
The
I'm sure these guys were like all lined up to go to New Mexico. I'm sure they were like, oh shit, we didn't get any other offers. We got to go to New Mexico.
They're going to get to start.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's how good these transfers are.
I'm not trying to say that these guys are going to put up 30 points, but I will tell you, don't be surprised when you're sitting there and they've got 17 points on the board by the end of the game. And
I'll be very surprised.
Here's what I'm going to tell you.
I'm listening.
You're going to say the same thing about the offense, by the way. You're going to say the same thing about the offense. They're going to score at will, blah, 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 blah. They're going to stop these guys.
I'm not saying that.
And so based off of that, which is the same thing you're hearing from Texas, this game is going to be 45-3 at halftime. And the second
Texas said over 50. 50 over 50. They'd be disappointed if they didn't get over 50.
At halftime?
No, for the game.
Okay, so see by halftime. And so,
The clock's running too fast now. You can't score 50 and a half.
oh, sure you could.
Nah.
So if you don't get there, so if you do get there, second guys, second team's going to be in the game, right?
Our second team should dominate their first team. Our third team should dominate their first team.
All I'm telling you is watch out. All right, so projections for this matchup, their offense against our defense, right?
I want to see tackles for loss, TFLs. I want to see, let's say 8 in the back. I'm not talking sacks. I'm talking tackles for loss behind the line of scrimmage against a running team. That I'll be happy with. With a 3-man front, we're not going to have TFLs. Our linebackers aren't instinctive enough. They will not get up and make the plays in the backfield. Chappelle might get a couple if they run the sweep. Our defensive line, it's hard for one guy like a Walter Nolan, McKinley Jackson to take double teams all day and still get pressure because it's just hard.
It is.
So Durkin, you put 4 guys up there, they have man-to-man, you can get more pressure because our talent alone will beat up the pressure. But I really don't see.
If you can create negative plays, you're going to put them in a bot. That's 100%. Right?
I'll put the over/under at 7. You're saying 17. I don't think New Mexico scores more than 7. They might get 7. That's it.
I do think they get 2 touchdowns and maybe 17 points. I think they get 2 touchdowns. I'm going to go somewhere in that 14 to 17 range.
Oh, God, I wish we got to make a bet on that.
And the reason they do is because Smirk'n Durkin is going to be in a 3-man line about half the time.
Hey, dude, his 3-man line last year didn't give up many points anyway. He just gave up a lot of rushing yards.
Yeah, but remember,
don't break. It was a bend, don't break.
But remember, other offenses helped us out with that because of the fact that they knew they didn't have to score because our offense was sitting over on the sideline. And our offense, when they were on the field, wasn't doing anything either. So there was no pressure. There was no pressure for that other team to really do anything out of the ordinary, right?
Right.
It's why the whole idea that Texas has if we score a touchdown a game, we win 10 games. Well, one more.
They're thinking we're going to score 10 to 15 points more a game this year. That's what they're saying today. 10 to 15
that equation
points
that equation doesn't work because the fact of the matter is that the opposing teams weren't threatened. They weren't threatened by our offense, and so they didn't have any pressure to go out and do more than they already did.
Right.
Let's get back to this game.
Let's do it.
All right. So you think 10 points?
No, I said 7.
7. All right.
Tops.
How many yards do you think they give up to this team? Think over 300 or under?
I was thinking under 300. Way under.
I'm gonna go 350. About one? No. I'm kidding. They may run.
Wait.
They may rush for 150. They may rush for 150, but I don't know that they're going to throw for more than 150 either. So maybe it's right at 300.
There's 2 sides of the ball. We got to talk about the other side of the ball before we really talk about total yards.
But first, we're talking Aggie yards, defense. Aggie defense right now. That's it.
It all depends on what we think our offense is going to do too. If New Mexico is not going to rush the ball for 300 yards,
no,
they're sure as hell not going to pass the ball for 100. I think they might rush the ball maybe for 100 yards, and they might throw for 100. They might get 220 yards tops.
I'm going 300.
You said 350.
Yeah, I'm taking that down much.
I see that. That's quick.
How many turnovers do you think our defense gets?
Over under one run the ball.
Over under 1.5. Over under 1.5.
They better get over 1.5 because if we score enough points, that means New Mexico is going to have to throw the ball. So that's where we get the turnovers. So I say over.
This was a defense that barely got turnovers at all last year, right?
We hardly ever get turnovers. Name a season that we had a lot of turnovers.
It wasn't with Smirk'n Durkin at the head.
We had a lot of turnovers in the off season.
Yeah. That is true. Yeah, I'm sort of with you on over one. I'm going to turnovers to start the year for this defense. So I'm kind of with you. I take the over at that. So let's shift over to the other side of the ball, right? With the New Mexico defense versus the A&M offense. Just a little bit of down information here for the listeners on the New Mexico defense. They're a 3-3-5 stack. That's what they're going to do. They're going to continue to do the same thing they did last year. That, like I said earlier, overall that defense wasn't terrible. But this 3-3-5 normally gives Jimbo's offenses fits. So here's a good test. It's a good test
I like
because
that. You could have
because
said a 4-2-5 gives Jimbo's defenses 4-3-4 gives Jimbo fits. Everything gives him fits.
so we'll see right off the bat. Is Petrino's system going to be able to adjust to this 3-3-5 and do a better job? Specifically, I want to see it in the running game, right? Because last year and in prior years, the year before as well, the 3-3-5 is a defense that you should be able to do some run the football on those guys, right? And we just weren't able to do it. We weren't able to do it. Offensive
Keep
line
my head against the wall because our offensive line is all it comes down to. That's all it comes down to in this game. That's it. Every game from here on out.
That's not true.
Why I'm tired. That's why I'm hitting myself in the head because I'm tired of it. Offensive line. If they step up, we should dominate the line of scrimmage. We should run for 200 plus yards and throw for whatever the hell we want to. We should get 250.
Yeah, but my thing here is this. Look, offensive line is going to tell you they'll let you know right off the bat. This is a good test for this offensive line because these guys are going to twist, they're going to stunt, they're going to come from all kinds of places. That's what their defense is made to do, right? And it's about confusion, not necessarily the athletes executing it. And here's the thing: our offensive line struggled with that last year, so we'll get to see right off the bat. Are they in a better place as far as where they're coached, right? And for that reason, it's a good test because maybe that hurts the running game if they're not able to pick up those stunts and those twists in the running game. That's one thing. Eventually, it doesn't matter because our outside athletes will make plays that they're not going to stop.
That's true. Now, I'll tell you what, we'll find out a lot the first possession or two if Petrino trusts that offensive line by his play calling. If he's doing a bunch of dive plays, that's fine. He's softening up the defense maybe, but if he's doing a lot of quick passes, I don't think he trusts the offensive line. I think he's trying to get the ball to Wegman's hand. Now, if we see a play action pass going deep or something, I think that shows Petrino, hey, he might trust this line a little bit. But we'll see. We'll see
that's a great point.
Whatever Petrino, that's what we're waiting to see is if Petrino trusts the line, I think we'll be fine. If he doesn't, it's going to make his play calling a lot different than what it should be. And I'm not sure exactly what we're going to lean on. Are we going to lean on our triple-headed running backs between Daniels, Moss, and Owens? Are we going to lean on our wide receivers or Wegman's arm? What are we leaning on? What's our calling card this year?
I bet you it's those wide receivers. I bet you it's those wide receivers.
But if you don't have an offensive line, how do you put it on the wide receivers?
Well, you get the ball out there quick to them. A lot of quick passes, screens, slants, quick outs, different things, fades. Even fades down the field doesn't take a lot of time, right? So you find a way to do that, but you got to, eventually you got to get at least some protection.
Well, we couldn't find the time last year in a lot of games.
Yeah, but that wasn't just time. It was bad play design. It was poor
coaching,
poor job on
say execution.
On the checks.
I dare you to say.
No, poor job on the checks.
Execution.
Poor job on the checks by the offense, by whoever was calling the plays.
Whoever, love it.
Well, you heard it. It's a collaborative effort.
I'm just waiting for you to say the execution word. Say it.
Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. The key, avoid negative plays, dude. Avoid negative plays. You know what I mean?
Well, it's all about execution.
If they can run the football, this thing should be a 50-pointer. Right? I'm just going to tell you right now. If they can run,
there shouldn't be no reason we can't run the ball. I mean, we have. I like to see. I'm excited to see who they start at tight end. Who do you think it's going to be? You think it's going to be Jake? Max? Who do you think?
I think
they're going to start Max. That'll let you know if we're going to run the ball or not. If Max Wright starts at tight end, we're putting our noses down. We're running straight ahead. If Jake starts, going to be throwing.
I do anticipate that he's going to air it out at some point.
He's got to. He's got too many people talking about this offense and how bad they were last year. He's got to come in and get everybody excited about Aggie football. right now. I don't even give a shit. Everybody's like, well, I think he's going to hold back because they got Miami next week. Bullshit. We're going to show up, show out, get everybody excited. That way,
Hey, and I said, don't worry about the opponent. Don't play down to the opponent. Go get after everybody. That's the way that the
exactly.
coaching staff should be looking at it as well, right?
I agree.
So, all right. So, bottom line,
Yeah.
how many points does this offense score?
49.
Man,
What?
you are on the Kool-Aid today, baby. I love it.
What are you talking about?
You're on the Kool-Aid today. I'm going to go under that.
I say 49 at the top 7, so 49-7. What's that, a 42-point win? Covers the spread?
There you go. Yards,
There it is.
450 yards or more.
More. If they're scoring 49 points, they're going to score. I don't think the defense will score a touchdown unless New Mexico gets desperate.
Do they do they turn the ball over at all?
Yeah, I think they will.
One turnover?
Yeah, at least somebody will fumble or something will happen. It's gonna be really hot out there.
Or is Connor going to throw his first pick?
No, I don't think Connor will throw his first pick. I think it'll be. I think they're gonna get really sweaty in that 108-degree heat or whatever it's going to be.
I will say this.
Uh-oh.
I don't agree. I don't know that I agree with anything you just said.
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right. All right, so let's get down to it.
How many points did you say?
I'm gonna go under 40. I'm gonna go 38.
So full of shit. 38-17. That's the final score. Aggies win by 21.
There you go.
But
So
what's the over?
so let's,
Hey, what's the over? What's the over?
Let's get to the numbers. Let's get to.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
the Aggies they're minus 38 by the way.
Well,
right?
My numbers say they cover.
You think they cover the 38? I don't know.
I just said 49-7.
I don't love it. I
I
don't
don't love it either. The guys at work don't love it.
I'm gonna tell you why I don't love it. I don't love it for a couple of reasons. One is this specific matchup, and there couldn't be a bigger discrepancy in talent around the country. Period. Right.
I saw it last year. I saw it last year when we played UMass. There's a big discrepancy in talent. I saw it last year we played.
What was that score?
Huge.
What was that score?
Games. Both games. Exactly.
So that's my point. There couldn't be a bigger discrepancy in talent, but the systems on offense and defense that New Mexico runs are what have given the Aggies problem in the past. That's all I'm telling you. And I'm not saying we're not going to win this game and we're not going to win it by a lot. I'm just thinking that it's not going to cover 38. Which I also 49 is the over-under. There's your other number.
Over.
I do think that's an over. And the reason being is because I think our defense gives up a couple of touchdowns.
Why would our defense give up touchdowns? Our defense is better than last year.
It could be. It could be. You don't know who the second quarterback is.
I know like 5 of them.
You also know, well, that's the problem. You got 5, not 1. Here's the other thing. We've been super impressed with Bryce Anderson, but Antonio Johnson was our best defender last year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're still replacing your best defender from last year. And there's rumors that we may be starting a freshman at linebacker in York.
Love it.
So take all that.
Love it.
Yeah, take all that. And now tell me you're confident that this defense is going to be better than last year's.
I'm already confident. I'm very confident. Very confident.
Very. All right, so let me ask you this. Who's going to be the defensive player of the game for the Aggies?
Running team, doing that. It's going to be a linebacker. Let's go Edge Cooper.
Boy, that would make me so happy. So happy.
Let me give him the kiss of death. Kiss of death. There you go, Edge. Should have said Russell.
I'm going to go McKinley Jackson.
Okay.
I'm going to pull a page from the Corey playbook. I'm going to go McKinley Jackson. I think ultimately that dude just a phenomenal day. He's going to make some plays in the backfield. He's going to be the guy that puts them behind the chains on several occasions. And
Not if they're running a 3-man front there, he's not.
I'm just telling you, I expect big things from him against their offensive line. In his final year here, the dude is going to start the season with a show-out game. And if I were to throw a second guy out there, I'm going to go Anderson in his position there as the nickel safety. He's going to have to be involved in the run game and the pass game. And I think he's going to have opportunities to make plays.
All right.
So we'll see that. But McKinley Jackson, my defensive player of the game. How about the offensive player of the game? What do you think?
Man, if we're going to throw the ball around, I'm going to say Johnson. I want to see that kid tight end make a difference. If they're running a 3-3-5, that means they're going to have a tight end on him most of the time because I think they're going to be focused on our
linebacker,
wide receivers. Huh?
Linebacker on him.
Yeah, he's going to be covered by a linebacker, so he should be able to match up pretty good against the linebacker. If they had a safety or a defensive back on him, I'd be a little worried because of the speed issue. But I think Johnson he'll be big enough, bigger than their linebackers and faster.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. If Green is playing tight end tomorrow or this Saturday, I may go with the tight end. But I'm going to go with Moose. I'm going to go with Moose because I think he's going to make like 2, maybe 3 of those like ridiculous one-handed catches, just making somebody look silly on one-on-one coverage.
Love it.
That where Connor just throws it up for him and he goes out and makes a play. So I'm going to go Moose.
All right.
How about the defensive freshman performer of the game? Freshman.
Probably York if he gets to play.
Yeah, I think that's
a lot's going to be on our linebackers to stop this running game. Our defensive line can soak up the offensive line and almost will be like an offensive line and make holes for our linebackers, and our linebackers know how to use them. Go linebacker.
Yeah, York. I think he's going to get plenty of time on the field. They've been praising him. He should get in there and be able to make some plays right off the bat. He can be aggressive, and so I would agree with that. Thomas on the outside is a guy you might think about. There's obviously he's going to get reps at corner as well. Offensive freshman of the year. What do you think? Or not of the year, of the game?
Batantis. What is his name? Basantis? Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take him.
Yeah, he's going to start. So, right? Yeah, that's a pretty easy pick. If he plays well, that's going to make a huge difference for this offense.
Wait, where's he starting? For Zoom?
Right tackle for Father. Who's still not 100%.
No, I thought Father was going to play.
I think he will play. I just don't think he's going to play the entire game.
So who else is out? Who else is out on the offensive line?
My understanding is that Foster's still out.
Imagine that.
That's the only other one.
Zune's playing fully healthy.
Yeah, Zune's playing. Newberry.
Anybody else dinged up? Any other ding ups that we know about?
Fathery and Foster.
Any word on the running back issue? Who's getting the start?
They're going to use the committee approach, right? Who gets the first snap? It's inconsequential, right? It just depends on.
It'll be Daniels. I think it'll be Daniels.
But I think it's Daniels. Yeah, I do think.
I'd say Daniels or Moss. I think other ones will come in later in the game.
So give me a final score prediction.
49-7.
49-7. I like it.
Aggies.
38-17. There you go.
All right. So we're both taking the over. I'm taking the Aggies to cover. You're taking the not to cover. Okay. Oh,
all right.
You don't have to be an Aggie. You don't have to be an Aggie hater.
I'm not an Aggie hater.
You sound like it.
I'm just giving you the truth, man.
Yep.
Now for deliveries from the delivery man. Around college football, here we go. Start off Florida, Utah tonight, Corey. Utah's -5, 43.5 over under. What do you think?
I like Utah even without their starting quarterback. We actually have a bet on this game. We took Utah and we took the under. And I just think Florida sucks. That's my personal opinion. I think Florida sucks. I mean, I don't think Anthony Richardson was
I share that opinion.
I think they suck. That's my personal opinion. Utah, I mean,
I'll tell
Florida
you
has
what,
talent, so
I love the under. I do. I love the under. And the reason being is that one, Cam Rising, the quarterback for Utah, is out.
yeah,
But not only that, their style of play is physical, defensive, get after you a little bit, make you pay. Florida, I don't think Florida has the same level of athlete that they've had in the past, especially on the perimeter on both offense and defense. And
right.
I think ultimately there's just not going to be a lot of points scored here. I don't have any faith in the new quarterback in Florida, Mertz, whatever. That
Right.
he wasn't any good at his, in the Big Ten. He's certainly not going to be any good here. You know what I mean?
I hear you. Who you got next?
All right, Friday night, Louisville, Georgia Tech. Louisville's -7 and over under 50.
Haynes King coming out party, huh?
Haynes King coming out.
And like half the Aggies from last year. I'm taking
right.
Louisville. I like the new coach at Louisville. They brought their quarterback with them from Purdue. Give me Louisville.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I'd probably take Louisville. I'm going over 50. How about that? That's gonna be my bet.
I like it.
Saturday, Virginia, Tennessee. Tennessee's -28 and 56
Wow.
on the over under.
Tennessee, big time. I like Tennessee a lot.
Dude,
Well,
that bet of the weekend right there.
yeah.
Bet of the weekend. Take Tennessee for 1,000.
Yep.
Colorado, TCU. TCU's -20.5, 63.5 over under.
I don't know. I mean, Colorado brings in Dion and all his boys. They got some cornerbacks. I'd
They're
say
at TCU, right?
I'd be leaning under on this one because I don't know what to expect from Colorado's offense. But it sounds like Dion brought in a bunch of athletes, so I'd say under. I'm not. I don't think I'd touch the spread. If I did, I'd probably lean Colorado just for the. I'm
A lot
not
of
sure what
points.
TCU lost a lot of talent.
Yeah. Max Duggan got cut this past week, by the way.
It sucks.
Yeah,
Poor guy.
Yeah, I agree. I'd probably lean Colorado just because it's a lot to cover. Not to win, but to cover. Arkansas
Right.
State